How's it going, everybody? This is the Stimulus Check Hub here to give you your daily stimulus check and unemployment benefits updates and the latest information. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube, which is what I try to provide here on this channel.
First up, let's talk about these state checks that are going to be going out today. And the article says stimulus checks worth up to $15 million are going to be sent out to 10,000 workers in Alabama. Congratulations. The funds are going to be part of the second round of the Child Care Workforce Stabilization Grants from the state's Department of Human Resources. So that's who's sending them out. And it says the first round of grants went out to 1,278 child care providers in December of 2021 and January of 2022. Now, full-time employees are in line to get checks of $1,500, while part-time employees are going to be getting $750. Payments are going to be rolling out from today, so they're starting right now, and will continue until March 18th. And the scheme was first unveiled back in November, and it is designed to help out child care providers recover from the pandemic. Alabama DHR Commissioner Nancy Buckner said the nationwide staffing shortage has tested the resilience of the Alabama's child care providers. And as they continue to persevere, these bonuses will help recruit much-needed reinforcements and reward current employees for their dedicated services to the children and families of Alabama. Now, up to 8 quarterly bonuses may be given before September 23rd. Child care providers must meet specific qualifications to apply for grants, and providers must be in operation and must continue operating for a minimum of 1 year after receiving the bonus funds. Providers must also be in good standing with Alabama DHR. So, in addition to that, it also says that Indiana residents, here's a bonus, are going to be due $125 tax refunds, but only after they file their taxes this year. So, there's another one right there. So, you guys, congratulations to child care providers in the state of Alabama. Full-time workers could be getting $1,500. Part-time workers could be getting $750. All right, so now let's talk about what's happening on a federal level with stimulus packages and stimulus checks. So, a link in the description below to this Bloomberg article just came out today, and it says, there's little doubt that President Joe Biden had it right when he called the $1.9 trillion pandemic relief package that Democrats rammed through Congress a year ago one of the most consequential in U.S. history. And yes, they're talking about that American Rescue Plan. That's the one that had child tax credits, unemployment extensions, and $1,400 stimulus checks. It says the trouble is that he didn't envisage some of the consequences of passing that package. The American Rescue Plan, including one of the final rounds of stimulus checks among its welters of transfer payments to families and local authorities, was designed as a short-term bridge to an even bigger $4 trillion long-term economic program, one designed to revamp and rebuild the economy and society. And that $4 trillion they're talking about was the original version of the Build Back Better bill. And you'll recall, we had Democrats, after they passed the American Rescue Plan, say, this is just the beginning. We're going to be passing $6 trillion, $7 trillion, $10 trillion, monthly reoccurring checks, unemployment extensions, unemployment boosts, child tax credits, all of these provisions they wanted to see. However, as inflation began to tick up, we began to see conservative Democrats say no, and we begin to see that package get cut down further and further and further until it is to the place where it is today. And a lot of those provisions that we had heard about, they're no longer included in the package. Now, reading on, it says instead, economists and former officials say that American Rescue Plan, it contributed to a sustained pace of high inflation that sent Biden's approval rating skidding and left key moderate Democrats with limited appetites to embrace his remaining economic agenda. When Biden delivers his State of the Union speech on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, that political reality is set to confront any new push for investing in human infrastructure, which you'll recall is the new key phrase for stimulus provisions, social spending plans, infrastructure, because it's part of the infrastructure package, but to humans. Stimulus provisions for people, such as expanded support for children and health, and is the centerpiece of his Build Back Better program. And you can see here a chart of the Inflation Association. Consumer prices rise fastest since 1982 amid aid in spending. And you can see how it has skyrocketed over 7% very quickly. And they're saying this is due to stimulus. Now, inflation did accelerate and people did link it back to the ARP, or the American Rescue Plan, and those policies. and they connected the dots and said that they did not want additional support for the economy, according to Mark Zandi, chief economist for Moody's Analytics. Zandi himself ascribed the elevated level of inflation to the effects of the Delta and Omicron waves, which slowed down the returns of virus-wary Americans to the labor force. So he's also saying that is a contributing factor to the inflation issue we're experiencing right now. And in addition to that, the Russia-Ukraine conflict now threatens to send inflation rates even higher, putting greater burdens on Americans' energy bills. Now, we also heard from the West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, and he is needed in the Senate to pass through a bill through the process of reconciliation for Democrats. And he had this to say about the social spending bill last month. He said, "My main concern is still inflation, the high cost that everybody in my state and around the country that I hear from." And that he also said, the geopolitical unrest that we have with Ukraine. All that is going to have a big cost sometime sooner or later. And he also made it clear that any social issues, he said, such as childcare, should be addressed via legislative committees, which is a slower process that can make it harder for Democratic leaders to move forward with Biden's proposals. What we're hearing right now, too, is that lawmakers, they are trying to do whatever they can to reassemble the bill. We heard the president say pull out chunks, rename it, get something passed through so we can get something done. But we also heard that, listen to this, former Treasury Secretary and veteran Democratic policy lawmaker Lawrence Summers said that he's not surprised that Biden has had to pivot. Summers' argument at heart, he said, rested with the basic law of supply and demand, and he contended that the American Rescue Plan package, with $1,400 stimulus checks at a cost of $410 billion, and also unemployment extensions for those out of work, would boost demand beyond the economy's ability to meet it, and that inevitably it would have resulted in higher prices or inflation. And the relief program was a serious error, said Summers, a paid contributor to Bloomberg Television. It both set the stage for inflation and politics that we have today, and it's eliminated the chance to make fundamental investments in our country, giving the political context. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you agree with that. However, listen to this. Biden supporters reject that idea that the rescue plan was a mistake, and they point to its role in fueling a powerful economic rebound. Thanks in part to the stimulus, gross domestic product grew last year by 5.7%, the fastest pace since 1984. Unemployment plunged, reaching 4% in January from 6.4% at the start of Biden's presidency. And looking back, I don't think it was too large, said Brian Deese, director of the White House's National Economic Council. It achieved the goal of driving a very strong, inclusive recovery that is delivering an extraordinary amount of economic good to the country. So there you have it, you guys, two very different perspectives about what's unfolding due to the American Rescue Plan. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but if Biden supporters and Biden have the same opinion, I think it's very likely that in the State of the Union address tomorrow, President Joe Biden is going to be touting what he has already passed and also what he is planning to pass in the form of another stimulus package, a revised Build Back Better, and we'll see if he's going to be passing even more stimulus provisions as well.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube. Have a good one.